Welcome back to another video where I'll be going over how to draw an eye part 2, and I'll be working on this eye right here. So the last video I did when it comes to drawing eyes was this eye. You see how it turned out. It's not super sharp, and that's how I love my eyes. Like, I don't want the dark part of the eye to be super sharp. I want it to like just flow out. It gives the eyeball this natural look. I tell people all the time, drawing isn't really that hard. You just have to break it down to like small steps. For this part of the eye, it's not that much to do. It's not really all this extra technical skills you really have to learn to create this eye. It's simply just hatching and layering, and that's all it is. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of my kneaded eraser, and I'm going to erase some of this outline. Then I'm going to outline the highlights within the eye. So we have this highlight right here, and then this really small one right here. Okay, then I'm gonna lightly outline the iris. Don't make it too dark, just take your time, apply a little pressure. We're just setting in a guide. There we go. Since I'm unable to really see the pupil in the reference photo, then I'm gonna just make one up. This seems about right. There we go. And then I'm gonna fill in that pupil with hatching. You see it's not perfect, and that's okay. This is just like the first couple of layers. And now I'm gonna hatch the whole entire eye right here very lightly, just to fill it in. Be careful with these highlights. You don't want to get any hatching inside the highlights, and if you do, it's okay, just don't do it again. There's been times where I forgot I drew the outline for the highlight and I just filled it in. So make sure you pay attention to that. There we go. What I'm doing now is I'm darkening right under this eyelid because the light is coming from whichever direction, but when it comes to eyelids and eyeballs, the eyelid sits over the eyeball, and you're gonna have this shadow that comes right at the top of the iris. I know it looks funny right now, but you have to trust the process. If I decide to just stop at this point, I would never get to that point. So take your time, don't rush it, it will come together. Okay, after I added in some layers, I will darken the outline of the iris by doing this hatching and stippling type of technique. I like to keep the middle part, like right here between the iris and the pupil, lighter than the outline or the pupil because it gives it this realism effect. Now I'm just mainly using stippling. I switch on and off, especially when I'm working on very tight places, I have to use stippling. I'm not gonna lie, this was creepy, but we're gonna fix that. We just have to darken everything. That's all we have to do. I'm moving way faster on this eye than I did the other one. You know, the more you draw, the easier it becomes, the faster you become. So try to draw every day. If you can't, that's fine. I've gone months without drawing. Just never give it up. It will be worth it at some point. And if you want to start charging people to do, portraits or whatever type of drawings, then I would recommend draw every day. Draw from life, draw anatomy, draw yourself in the mirror, draw your friends, draw your family. More practice, the better you become. And what I'm doing, I'm adding this really dark line right at the top of the iris, right under the eyelid, making that dark guideline. As I was working on this eye, I realized that the pupil right here is a little lower than this one. And you see how high this pupil is versus this one, this was low. These mistakes are gonna happen. As you can tell, I'm not really disappointed or anything about it because I'm used to making mistakes, but we just have to correct it. You might be wondering, how are you going to fix this mistake? I'm wondering the same thing, to be honest with you. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just darken the whole eye right here, just really dark, and then make the pupil smaller, but make that super dark. Let's just see how it goes and let's give it a try. I know when you make mistakes, whether you're drawing with any type of medium, it can be very disappointing when the mistakes do happen, and especially if they're kind of unfixable. It's okay to be upset, but just remember everything's a learning experience. I've been drawing pretty much all my life, and you see I'm still making mistakes. So you'll get there, you'll have some amazing drawings, you have godly type drawings, but there's always going to be times where you might make a mistake here or there. I'm still hatching fairly lightly. I don't want to make anything too dark, especially since I am trying to fix a mistake and I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, honestly. See, this part has to be darkened up here as well. So I was able to make the value consistent on this eye. The pupil has gotten lost a little bit in the background. You could kind of still see it coming through. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna really darken up here to put the pupil in the correct spot where it was supposed to be in the first place. And as you can see, it's a lot darker right here. So now this looks like this is where the pupil is instead of where it was more so in the middle. Now I'm going to continue darkening this pupil. So since I have that in place, now it's time to hatch up here just to make it darker. And I still have to draw some of the eyelashes in right where I'm drawing now. So that's gonna cover up this middle empty space right here. Lightly stippling to, create the iris. And then now we're coming to this side to darken this top part right here next to this highlight. Here we go. Would you look at that? Wow. I was able to correct that pupil, which I was a little bit nervous about, I'm not gonna lie. But since this eye looks a lot darker than this one, I'm gonna have to darken this eye just a little bit. Not too much, but I just need the eyes to look, cohesive and whatnot. I do like how light this one is, but Unfortunately, I did mess up right here, so I will have to darken this. Now I have to bring the iris out, so I'm gonna stipple this ring around this dark spot of the eye, just like I did right here. There we go. Pretty much done with this part of the eye where I just have to fill in the iris and pupil. Everything looks good to me. You guys let me know which part of the eye, like, so if you look at this side and then this eye, which eye would you think looks better, the darker one or the lighter one? I'm torn between the two because I really do like both of them. I like how there's a lot of contrast right here, but I do like how dark this one is. Working my way into the eyeball, which is very tricky because when you draw shadows in the eyeball, you don't want it to be too dark. So my best advice with that is to make sure you're drawing super, super lightly. Like barely tap the paper when you're hatching, stippling, whatever you're doing. So I do have to darken this. You see how light I'm stippling? Just letting the value build up, making it darker, not just putting too much pressure. I just want very light shadows. There we go. I'm so happy that I was able to save this eye from looking weird and off from the other eye. So I will have to darken a lot of stuff around the eye, which will make it 10 times better than what it looks like now. But for now, I think I'm just gonna darken. You see, as I'm talking, I was gonna say I'm gonna darken this eye, but I started working on something else. That's just how I am as an artist. But I will be darkening this eye to match this. So let me just do this real quick because I like to jump from different parts of the drawing. Okay, so now I'm gonna make this eye, no, I'll make this eye the same value as this eye. So just layering around here and then layering around here. And then now I just have to hatch within the eye, like that. Now it was looking darker, but I think this one's just super dark. Maybe just a couple more layers and then the values will look the same. I think that's about right. Yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe I just need to darken the pupil right here. But other than that, I think the values look pretty similar. I'm so glad that I caught that mistake on camera so I can show you guys that everyone does not come out the womb drawing. Like, it takes time, it takes practice. You're gonna have to fail, learn, do it over and over again. Charles White didn't come out the womb drawing like he does. Michelangelo didn't come out the womb drawing like he does. Like, everyone has been where you're at before. So just keep pushing to get better. And I'm still getting better. I've been drawing for like what, about 16, 15 years, and I'm still constantly getting better over time. So now for this drawing, what I have to do is darken everything else. So like the skin, the hair, I'm actually finished the hair, but I do have to darken the skin a lot more, add in more shadows, because this is too light for the portrait. And you might be thinking, why is it too light? I mean, it looks fine to me. Well, it can be better. It always can be better. So I do have to work on that and definitely put in the teeth as well, because it kind of looks funny with just you know, nothing in there. But hopefully I get to finish this soon, and I will be making more content. Thank you guys for watching.